Yo boys, today we're going to be talking about inverse fair value gaps and just what they are and how we use them in trading. So first things first, let's come out here. Let's create us a fair value gap, just a normal fair value gap, which would consist of one candle down, two candle down, and then a third candle down. One wick here, wick at the bottom candle, wick at the top candle here, one right here, one right here. Boom. Here's our fair value gap right now. On a normal fair value gap, we would retest this area right here and then close back down under it and then continue the trend to new lows. What's different about the inverse fair value gap is, What's different about the inverse fair value gap is instead of closing under these, inside this area right here, inside this box, inside the fair value gap, we are going to reject the fair value gap, close outside the fair value gap, and we're going to end up leading to a completely new trend like this. Normally when you get an inverse fair value gap, it's caused by the imbalance in the market right here, but instead of it bouncing down and filling the imbalance in the market, it rejects it and then leads to new highs. Here we have a breaker structure to the upside. So when I'm using these for IFGs or imbalance rejections or inverse value gaps, I'm using them as a confluence to get before the breaker structure. So let's go down to the 15-minute time frame and let's look at a recent trade we've taken. Right here. Right here, you can see that we have a 1 hour fair value gap. Right here. When this trade was playing out, I noticed we had a 1 hour order block. Normally I would take the trade just off this, but I was waiting for the retest down. Saw that we had a 1 hour fair value gap here. Thought this order block would turn into a breaker block, so I didn't take the trade fully. Waited until this fair value gap inversed, waited till the 15-minute got inversed, then waited till the sell side liquidity got pushed through, took the trade, and ended up winning the trade. Normally, when you get a fair value gap, it is the first step before the breaker structure. On a normal trade, we would never be able to take the trade at this level right here. We would wait to, all the way up here to take the trade. Instead, once you get the fair value gap or the inverse fair value gap, you can understand, okay, market's going to flip direction because it rejected this imbalance right here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to take my long position here. Get in your long position as soon as it closes above that candle on the same time frame. Stop loss halfway through the fair value gap just in case of a retracement. TP at a 1 to 3, and then boom, you just hit your trade. Instead of waiting for all the way up here to put in your trade at a 1 to 3 where you would have still hit take profit, but a lot of times you won't, you get in on a way earlier entry, which is honestly better. Much, much, much better. It is more of aggressive entry, just entering strictly off an inverse value gap, but it does work out a lot. Let's look at another example here. Here's an inverse value gap on the 15-minute time frame. If I would have seen this play out in real time, I would have understood, okay, we are switching trends to a new direction. Break a structure to the downside, right here. We broke structure to the downside, indicating a new trend. Retest all the way back down, back into my buy side liquidity. Retest all the way back up. Inverse this for value gap right here. Continue the trend to new highs. So let's look at the market as we speak right now. We have a fair value gap playing out right here pretty nicely. Filled a little bit. The imbalance now lays right here. If we do end up getting a retest back into this fair value gap right here on the 15-minute time frame, and then a rejectment and a close out of here, I will be taking the short to continue the trend to lower lows, lower highs. Now, if we get a trend such as this, where we reject a little bit and then close outside, I will be taking the long even before the breaker structure to get the inverse fair value gap and continue the trend. As you can see right here, once you get an inverse fair value gap, you don't even have to wait for it to retest. I don't have to wait for it to break structure up here. I can enter strictly off here. So if you guys are kind of wondering what fair value gaps are, you guys can go watch my bootcamp video day 2. But inverse fair value gaps are fair value gaps that get disrespected and they get seeked through. So when it closes outside the fair value gap or, breaks the fair value gap and destroys it, seeks the imbalance and goes straight through the imbalance, it causes an IFG, which normally leads to a trend switch. So if this fair value gap, right here, closed outside of it, I would be taking the long, like I said. Fair value gaps are essentially just or inverse value gaps are essentially just for value gaps that get disrespected. Pretty simple.